How are you this morning, Paul?
I'm good. Do you know what? I'm not a Tottenham fan, but I'm excited by the return of Antonio Conte to the Premier League. And I think most neutral fans should be, because we want the world-class players and we want the world-class managers. And Antonio Conte is undoubtedly a world-class manager. I broke the news late last night on Sports Bar that Antonio Conte has now reached an agreement with Tottenham. He will sign an 18-month contract. They've moved swiftly to replace Nuno Espirito Santo following his departure yesterday morning, and we expect it to be confirmed by Tottenham maybe in the next couple of hours, because I know there's an expectation amongst the Spurs players that Conte will take his first training session as early as today. And I tell you what, the Tottenham players are excited as well, and I think this is particularly a big appointment for Harry Kane, someone who's looked pretty disinterested in the first few weeks of the season. 1 goal in 9 in the Premier League, but we know that Antonio Conte is a big admirer of the England captain. He's gone on record as saying that in the past, and if he can't get the best out of Harry Kane, the Spurs shirt, I'm not sure anybody can.
Crookie, tell me, because in my own opinion, I look at Conte's managerial career, fantastic, wonderful, great success. However, I think this might be his toughest job, because I think previous clubs that he's been at and been with have had better opportunities to win things, and probably haven't, and I might be wrong, probably haven't needed just as much a dramatic change in personnel and tactics and train of thought and everything as Spurs need right now.
Do you know what? I think you're right, Ali. And if you look at when he went to Chelsea, that was a team already set up to challenge for the Premier League title. I'm not sure what this Tottenham squad is. And I think the 18-month element of the contract is interesting, because clearly objective one this season is to get Spurs challenging for a place in the Champions League. That's where Daniel Levy wants to be dining out. And if you look at the run of games they've got to come, actually, he's got a really kind start, Conte, in terms of fixtures. They don't really play anybody that you would expect Tottenham at their best to have any trouble with until Leicester in mid-December. They're only 5 points off the top four, because of course they started the season pretty well in terms of wins under Nuno, so it wouldn't take much to get them challenging for the top four. And I think that fourth place is up for grabs. Manchester United, you never quite know what you're going to get from them. Arsenal at the moment in a good run of form. West Ham, fantastic, but can they maintain it? But then next year, I think with a summer transfer window behind him, Antonio Conte will want to be challenging for the Premier League title. And that means that he's been promised an awful lot of cash by Daniel Levy, because I said it on Sunday night, if you take Kane, you take Son, you maybe Lucas Moura out of this Tottenham side, it's a bang average squad. Their recruitment's been poor, going right back to when Gareth Bale was sold. So Conte is going to need to oversee an overhaul. And I think what's interesting here is the relationship between Conte and Fabio Paratici, the sporting director. I wonder now if Daniel Levy is going to take a little bit of a back step when it comes to the football side of Tottenham Hotspur and allow Paratici and Conte to really run the club in their own fashion.
Crooker, you touched on a little bit there, Harry Kane. Do you think Conte is the right man to get the best out of him? Because certainly, as you said, he hasn't looked like he's best in terms of so far this season, but do you think Conte can kind of revive that? And also as well, if he doesn't, could you see Conte maybe potentially dropping him?
Well, he wouldn't be afraid to drop him. Absolutely. We know, if nothing else, Antonio Conte is a ruthless manager. I think if you look at Harry Kane, he clearly is a player who responds to good management. You look at what he did for Pochettino. I still think is a world-class manager, despite the fact maybe it's not going all his way in Paris. Jose Mourinho transformed into a more sort of number 10 than a number 9, added assists to his game. He was fantastic last season. And if you look at the Nuno appointment, I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Harry Kane, for me, never really seemed to respect Nuno. And I think maybe that's the case with the whole Tottenham dressing room. If you're a player and you know that your new manager is not even probably the top 5 on the list of potential replacements, maybe as low down as 7th or 8th, would you respect him when he comes through the door, or instantly is he on the back foot with the dressing room?
Do you know what I think on that one, Crookie? I don't necessarily agree with you, and I'll tell you why. And we don't know, because we're guessing here, it has to be said first of all. But I'm not so sure that Harry Kane wasn't having Nuno. I just think Harry Kane was mentally shot to pieces with everything that happened. And it could, for Nuno, it could have been another manager, Crookie. I'm not sure. You might have a point, but the point I'm trying to make is, I think it was more to do with Harry's situation
that
he's in at this moment in time that makes me look at him and think, his head's not in the right place. I don't know whether there's obviously been speculation that he was promised a move if the offer was right and all that kind of stuff, and he feels. It looks to me as if he feels a little bit let down, and you can see it. Cricket, like we've spoken about it for days and days now. He's just not mentally in the right place.
Do you know what as well, Ali? It's a case of it could have been any manager as well that came in because his head was turned and he thought, I'm out of this. It doesn't really matter who they bring in. It didn't really matter to him, but the fact that he then had to stay, he's almost got that kind of look to him as if to say, oh well, I'm forced to stay, so I'll just play. So I think, again, that's not Nuno's fault. That's just the situation he got dealt in terms of where Harry Kane was at that particular time.
Crookie, I tell you what I do think. I think right now, we're all brilliant with hindsight in football. I'll bet you Daniel Levy and Harry Kane wish they'd taken the move in the summer now. You don't think so?
Yeah, and we've said that on the boot room on a Sunday. Darren Ambrose in particular, I think it would have been better for all concerned. I think Harry Kane has been a very loyal servant to Tottenham. I don't think he covered himself in glory, by the way, in the way that he tried to get himself out in the summer. I think he probably would wish that he did things differently. But in terms of Tottenham, I've said that they need a lot of players to come in and really boost that squad. If you get £120 million in one transfer, you can try and do what Aston Villa have done and bring in 3 or 4 players that really will improve you as a squad, as opposed to being reliant on one individual. And they have been too reliant on Kane and Son. And Nuno was too reliant on those 2 players as well. His tactics seem to be, let's just be tight at the back, and then those 2 world-class players up front will win us matches. And when one of your world-class players isn't performing for reasons that I'm sure probably only he knows, then again, you're on a hiding to nothing. But, you talk about hindsight. Nuno was a strange appointment. They got rid of Jose Mourinho because of the style of play. They brought in almost a Mourinho clone in terms of the way that Nuno sets his team up, but without the kind of coaching CV, the pedigree to really back up his method. So I think he was always on a hiding to nothing.
It's a funny one, Crookie. You mentioned they get rid of Mourinho, because of the style of play. Did they? I'm not sure. I still think, with that final coming up, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old cynic. I think there might have been finances involved somewhere along the line that certainly, speeded that.
If he won it, he gets maybe a bonus or something.
I think that maybe speeded that process along, Crookie. As I say, I might be wrong, but I absolutely take your point. It was a strange one. The one thing I think that you will see. When Conte comes in, I think you'll get a reaction. I mean, to be fair, you got it with Nuno the first 3 games, didn't you? You know what players are like. They'll give you a reaction. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, Crookie. But thanks very much for your time this morning.
Crookie.
You have a good day, my friend.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday morning 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.